Hi, Mystery Resurfaced here. Today, I am going to explain a 2010 New Zealand, South Korean fantasy action film called The Warrior's Way. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. This is the story of a sad flute, a laughing baby and a weeping sword. The movie begins in 19th century Asia. There lived a warrior with empty eyes named Yang. Yang is a warrior and member of Sad Flute's clan, the cruelest assassins in the East. He'd trained his entire life, for one purpose, to be the greatest swordsman in the history of mankind. His goal is accomplished when he kills the former champion and leader of the enemy clan. These two clans had been warring for 500 years. They've sworn to fight until every member of the opposing clan is dead. Yang has killed every member except a baby girl, deciding to spare her, for when he spared that baby's life, this act makes Yang a sworn enemy of his own clan, with nothing but the clothes on his back and the baby in his arm, forces him to flee his homeland, and decides to pay a visit to an old warrior friend in a faraway land. After making his way to the American West, Yang arrives in the small town of Lode. There he seeks out a fellow rogue warrior friend, known to the townspeople as Smiley. Among the townspeople he sees Ron drunken lying on the floor. As Yang meets a gang of circus members led by the dwarf named 8-Ball, he informs him that Smiley died 3 years previously. As he leaves him in the laundry, later he meets Lin, a spunky young woman who was friends with Smiley. Lin reveals to Yang that Smiley taught her about using a sword and the Sad Flute clan, and she wants Yang to teach her more, but he is reluctant to do so. Lin gives Yang the nickname Skinny and agrees to teach him how to do the laundry, while naming the baby girl April. In the next scene, Mr. 8-Ball walks him through the town. They come across Lin practicing to aim with a knife. As Yang begins to enjoy life in the town, and starts learning to enjoy pleasures he never knew as a warrior. Later at night, while heading back to the laundry, he hears an opera outside Lin's house. He waits outside and hears it interestingly. As April pushes a bucket, hearing a noise, Lin comes out, saying it sounds even better from inside, showing him a gramophone. Finding an interest in opera, at the edge of the desert, in a busted town full of broken people, Yang began to learn stuff that he should have learned a long time ago. He learned you could be happy working with people. He also learned the joy of losing, and finding the simple peace in some private, after a hard day's work. In the next scene, while playing cards with 8-Ball, Yang sees Lin places flowers on a grave, and asks 8-Ball what happened. He explains that when Lin was a young girl, the town came under siege by a corrupt colonel. His preference to rape women with healthy teeth prompted him to choose Lin as his victim, but she was able to escape by throwing a pan of boiling oil on his face. As she flees, but the colonel shoots her in the back and kills her father, mother, and baby brother. When the townspeople buried her family, they found Lin still breathing. Ever since, Lin has sworn revenge against the colonel. Later, Yang teaches her how to throw knives, blindfolded while focusing on the target. She's surprised as she aims correctly, thanking Yang. Later at night, Lin asks why they are called the Sad Flutes. Yang informs her when they cut the throat, the last sound is like a sad flute. After this, Lin gives Yang a pendant as a gift. Later, Yang shows her his Jedik Geom, a Korean single-edged sword, but Lin notes it is welded to its scabbard. Yang explains it is so he cannot fight any longer. In a flashback, Yang is shown being given a puppy by his master, informing it's his only friend here. However, back in the East, Yang's former master Sadist Flute and his warrior army board the same boat to America, killing the entire crew in the process. Later, while the town's celebrating and dancing on the Christmas Eve, the colonel returns to the town to terrorize the people, wearing a frightening mask to hide the ugly scar from the hot oil. Colonel then tortures a clown by having his men shoot at a bucket of water on the clown's head, and is about to shoot a glass of whiskey himself, when Ron drinks it, making Colonel angry. He whip around his neck and is dragged through the town with being pulled by a horse. After that, while talking to the clown, he shoots him in his leg, as Lin watches from far hiding. Then the colonel inspects a lineup of women for their teeth, and chooses a Hispanic woman whose husband begs for mercy. The colonel releases the woman to her husband, to only shoot them down simultaneously with a single bullet. However, 8-Ball and the other circus members tie Lin up in a cellar for her own safety and Yang removes her blades, but she manages to free herself with a knife hidden in her boot. The colonel has the Hispanic woman's daughters cleaned to be raped, but Lin, disguised as a prostitute, offers herself instead. At first she fools the colonel before he reveals he remembers who she is. His men then rush in to hold Lin down on the bed. Back in the laundry, the circus members run in looking for Lin, and Yang realizes where she is. He grabs an iron and shatters the seal on his sword to free it. While far away, Sadist Flute wakes up from meditation, sensing the seal break. In the next scene, just as Lin is about to be raped, Yang bursts in through the window and expertly slays everyone in the room except the colonel. As Yang turns to kill him, Lin intervenes, saying that she will kill him, but the colonel grabs her and jumps out of the window, using her to break his fall before attempting to flee on his horse, but Lin was able to strike with a knife thrown to his back. As the townspeople pull off the mask to reveal a decoy instead, and are terrified that the colonel will return to kill them. Yang is about to leave town before the sad flutes come for him, but the townspeople requests him to stay and help. However, the people are worried they don't have the means to defend themselves, but 8-Ball has Ron's secret stash of guns and explosives buried in the graveyard. Later, Ron is shown to be an expert marksman, shooting a bowling pin down amongst his best liquor from hundreds of feet away. Yang asks Ron why he stopped shooting and Ron explains that he was once an outlaw, using his great skill to rob banks and trains. His criminal career ended when the woman he loved was shot during a gunfight, and he vowed to never pick up a gun again. Ron advises Yang that the best thing he can do is stay far away from those he cares about. The day before the battle, Lin asks Yang whether she can leave with her. Later that night, Yang comes to Lin's house and gives her his twin short swords. The next day, the colonel arrives with scores of bandits to assault the town. As the men approaches towards the town, they are met with explosions. Hiding at the top of the Ferris wheel, Ron is sniping sticks of dynamite hidden in the garden as riders comes. In the ensuing dust and chaos, Yang rapidly and stealthily kills many of the colonel's men. The bandits are lured to the Ferris wheel, where Yang and the circus members ambush them, as Ron slides to safety on a cable, while blowing up the Ferris wheel, killing many of the colonel's men. The remaining bandits chase the circus members to the center of town, where the sad flutes suddenly assemble. While the master spots Lin holding April, he orders to kill. As they attack, Yang appears and looks at Lin holding April and tells her to run. Yang follows Lin to the laundry shop, killing many warriors on the way as the bandits and warriors engage in battle. In the laundry, Lin hands April to 8-Ball so she can help Yang. After they kill some warriors, they hear shots and run to the dying 8-Ball, who says he couldn't protect April. The colonel is then shown entering a building carrying April. The sad flutes pursue, but are fended off with a machine gun. However, the bandits are unable to stop Yang, who brutally slices through them as he chases after the colonel. He enters a room to find the colonel holding a gun to April's head, but jumps up to slice the gun barrel and bullet in half mid-firing. Catching April from falling, Yang steps aside to let Lin fight the colonel. After a tense battle between Lin and Colonel, Lin manages to finally drive through a sword into the colonel's back. After that, Yang and Lin exit the room to find Sadist Flute waiting, who tells Yang that April is the enemy, and she will always be the enemy, and asks if he would ever tell April that he killed her parents. In next scene, Yang and Sadist Flute go to the desert at sunset and duel to the death. During the duel, flashbacks show Sadist Flute training Yang and forcing him to kill the puppy he was given, declaring Yang's biggest enemy would be his heart. Back to the present, Yang wins the duel. As he cuts Sadist Flute's throat, he informs Yang, "You are assassin, and all that you love you'll destroy." As he dies, later, Lin tells Yang she knows she won't be coming with him, and tries to hand him April, but he refuses. He makes the baby laugh once more, and gives Lin a caring look before turning towards the sunset and leaving. Ron narrates that Yang never stopped walking, putting as much space between him and the people he loved as possible. The scene then shifts to a hooded man in a parka. Another man approaches and the hooded man swiftly kills him, knives falling out of the latter's hands as he collapses. The hooded man, revealed to be Yang, stands up and goes to his shack, where he takes the pendant he had been given by Lin, his sword disguised as a snowman's broom and April's pacifier before setting the hut on fire. Walking out to the snow, a slew of clan warriors jumps out of the snow, and Yang unsheathes his sword as the scene fades. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.